Okay, Luca, here is a way for you to check to see if the right number of files are in each job or if perhaps some got submitted when they shouldn't have. So I'm in my inbox. I'm just going to drop down to Concentra Commercial, so it only shows those projects. And that's done. And then how about I sort, what's it sorted by right now? Right now it's sorted by job name. Let's sort it by job ID. That should make things a little bit easier. And then going over to our sheet, we could sort each of these, for instance, by job ID 2 so that they're sorted the same. This would be column D. I think mine are probably already sorted that way. You might have grouped yours by language. So yeah, we'll start here. 924. So the oldest one here is 914. That's in finished, but let's go to anything that's 914. So that is job 373231, which is a part of this group. Okay, so for instance, this number of tasks should be matching this task count here. So that's how I'm going to find out if something's wrong. For instance, we saw that in this group here they were wrong because when we go to, for instance, where was the check one you found? 375868 should be 5, but for 868 it's only 1. So I know that one's a problem. So I want you to check those task numbers and mark the ones that are wrong. You already did that for this job, which is great. Now, the next thing we have to do for any of these that are wrong is we have to change the bad ones back to the translation stage so that you can translate them, and we have to tell Ping those file names so that she can do whatever she has to do in Concentra. So I'll show you how to do it for this job, and I'll let you do the others. So for 868 in ETMA, I'm going to go into the project just by doing this. Click on this file name. You can see right away there is one task in translation, and there's 4 tasks in a stage called SJP repack. You want to pay attention to the ones that are for the target language, not for the one that's for English for Great Britain. That's just a system task. But you can see there's one check task in translation and one check task in SJP repack. Next we go to modify stage. We change the language down here to check. You have to do that every time. And then, now you can see there's one that's in the stage called translation, and then there are 5 that are in a stage called Broker SJP repack. These are all the stages that a file goes through in ETMA. After translation, the next thing is a system stage called Concentra DTD validation. That's the tag check. Then this little arrow thing is the final rebuild system. That's where they build a target file. Check the DTD again. Create vendor control. SJP repack. So these two I don't really know what they are. But what's good news is I believe that if we go back to the system task, great. Okay, so what is this one? Unpack. Start. Okay, yeah. So the good news is that these have not yet been sent back to Concentra. That's the good news. It's one of these 2 stages on the Great British one that sends the files back to Concentra. And once it reaches that point, we're toast, and Ping has to do extra work. But I believe Ping hasn't had to do any extra work for these, so that's good news. So all you need to do is click this button, the translation button, and that's going to send them, that's going to mark them as a translation, and you have to hit submit. Once we hit submit, it starts to spin, and it says it's fixed. You could hit refresh. You'll see that we now have 5 tasks in translation. If you go back to the inbox for this job, which was 375868, come on, ETMA. I will get emails every time you do this, but that's okay, don't worry about me. So for 375,868, which is right here, you'll see now there's 5. And now that there's 5, you can download them and process like normal from now on. So we're very lucky that it didn't move forward to finished, right? So that's great news. Hopefully you actually delivered these 3 that are in finished, and that didn't just happen by mistake. I guess we'll find out. If this did happen by mistake, then we'll have to revert them and do like we did last week. But that's the end of my story.